Aphasia. So, your friend invited you to this very fancy cocktail dinner where there was literally enough food and wine to feed a small village. You are enjoying yourself, casually sipping champagne, when you spot someone from the corner of your eye doing something that you can only assume is a death wish. Instead of drinking the wine in the glass cup, he is casually breaking and chewing the broken pieces of glass like it's candy. Well, what you've just witnessed is someone with an addiction called hyalophagia, which is a disorder where someone is obsessed with eating non-food, specifically broken glass. So basically, while everyone else is enjoying spring rolls and shrimp, a person with this addiction is busy trying to figure out how to munch on the glass plate carrying the spring rolls and shrimp. Now, aside from the fact that eating broken pieces of glass is just highly abnormal, it can also cause some severe damage to your mouth and internal organs. Just think about how dangerous it is to get cut by a piece of glass, then imagine what that kind of sharp object would do to your body if it were to actually get ingested. People who have this disorder often develop this after they've gone through a really traumatic experience and they start to chew the dangerous object as a form of coping mechanism. It can also stem from some psychological issues where your brain is trying to convince you that chewing glass is exactly what you need for a balanced diet. Autophilia. So, you've just come back from a 48-hour shift working in a junkyard and you're practically covered from head to toe in filth and dirt. However, instead of quickly hopping into the shower and scrubbing your body, you change out of those smelly overalls into your gym wear and hit the gym. Now you're back home, twice as dirty and sweaty, but instead of showering, you just jump into bed and get comfortable. In fact, you're practically getting turned on and sexually aroused by how dirty you are. Yep, you heard that right. Basically, you have a paraphilia characterized by sexual arousal from being dirty, filthy, or in a state of uncleanliness. Now, let's be clear, everyone enjoys getting messy once in a while, but for someone with autophilia, the dirt is the attraction. It's not just part of the fun, it's the reason for it. For you, being covered in dirt or grime creates a sense of freedom or rebellion, breaking away from the societal expectation to always be neat, tidy, and fresh-smelling. It's like the exact opposite of germophobia. So instead of running from dirt, these folks are running towards it. People with this addiction literally take the phrase cleanliness is next to godliness and turn it upside down. Of course, living with autophilia can have its challenges. Imagine explaining to your date why you're more excited about the sweaty hike than the candlelit dinner afterwards, or why you keep forgetting to bring a towel to the beach. On the plus side, people with autogynephilia probably save a fortune on cleaning products, and they're likely to be the most enthusiastic participants in any mud wrestling contest or food fight. Tanorexia. It was a bright and sunny day, so you decided to head to the beach and just relax. You get there, and just as you get ready to slather an insane amount of sunblock on your body, you spot a woman lying directly under the sun. She looks like she's just been dipped in scalding hot water. You even try to offer her some sunscreen because she's honestly starting to have a close resemblance to Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. But she politely refuses and lets you know she is tanning. Apparently, the lady has an addiction called Tanorexia. Now, if you have Tanorexia, you would literally never stop tanning even though you look so red and burnt. In your mind, you just want to achieve the perfect tan, so nothing is ever enough. You'd spend a ton of time frying under the sun, rubbing artificial tanning creams, and even subjecting yourself to tanning beds. However, the tricky part to this addiction is that much exposure to the sun and even those tanning beds can literally cause severe health issues for you. You would get skin damage, experience premature aging, and you have a higher risk of getting skin cancer. You could say they're getting a raw deal. Polydipsia. Now, staying hydrated and drinking at least 8 glasses of water a day is a very good way to stay healthy and have good skin. However, a person who has polydipsia would drink 8 gallons of water and not 8 glasses. You see, polydipsia is a medical condition characterized by excessive thirst and fluid intake. It's like your body's thirst meter is stuck on parched all the time. The irony is that despite all that drinking, people with polydipsia often feel like they're in a perpetual desert. Their thirst is so intense they might start eyeing that fish tank in the corner with a little too much interest. Now, while we can all agree that water is life, too much of it can actually be harmful and can lead to a condition called water intoxication, where the balance of salts and electrolytes in the body get thrown off. Think of it like overwatering a plant. Eventually, it drowns. Now, this excessive thirst can actually be caused when you have some medical condition like diabetes or kidney disease. So, because your body is losing fluids faster than usual, your brain would basically compel you to drink more. However, in some cases, polydipsia is linked to psychogenic polydipsia, which is where the urge to drink too much water comes from a psychological disorder like schizophrenia or anxiety. It's more about the mind than the mouth. Trichophagia. After years of not seeing your childhood best friend, she was finally visiting your town again, so you both decided to grab lunch. Now you meet her at this really great restaurant and you order all the best meals on the menu, but she only gets a salad, water, and fries. As you both wait for your order to arrive, you watch her start to chew hair that is packed in a ponytail. In fact, she undid the pony and started putting clumps of it in her mouth like it was the best thing after fried chicken. As you are busy staring in shock, she just casually tells you that she has an addiction called trichophagia, which simply means she has a compulsion to eat hair. Now, this addiction is often linked to trichotillomania, where people pull out their hair. So you'd pull out your hair like it's candy and then pop it in your mouth like a snack. Kind of gives a new meaning to the phrase tangled up in knots, literally. Well, people don't just wake up one morning and start pulling and chewing their hair, though, so this addiction is often linked to stress, anxiety, or obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. However, the big danger with this addiction is that constantly chewing your hair can cause a condition known as trichobazor, which means that over time, the hair can build up in the stomach and cause some pretty gnarly issues like blockages that might need surgery to remove. Urophagia. So, picture this. You're stranded in the desert with no water and your canteen is as empty as your Wi-Fi signal. You are getting really dehydrated, tired, and very, very angry at the entire situation. So instead of dying from the test, you suddenly remember the survivalist show you watched where the guy drinks their pee to quench their thirst. Well, desperate times call for desperate measures, so you zip down your pants, pee into your empty canteen, and drink the hot yellow liquid. Now, while you drank your pee as a last resort to survive, there are some people out there who actually just drink their pee for the fun of it. Like, instead of water, these guys would just pee into their cups and gulp down the liquid like lemonade. This addiction is called urophagia, a paraphilia or a behavioral condition linked to unusual fetishes that basically involves the person drinking urine. It might start as a simple fetish, but could spiral very fast into a very unhealthy addiction where some believe their pee has health benefits. It's like your body is offering you a refund for what it didn't need in the first place. There are people who actually believe that drinking their own urine can boost their immune system, clean up skin, and cure everything from acne to the common cold. Unfortunately, there's no scientific proof backing up these claims. But if someone wants to call it their morning shot of wellness, well, just nod politely and reach for the coffee. Benzene sniffing addiction. On your way to your daughter's school play, you decided to quickly branch to the fueling station and pump some gas into your car. Now, on getting there, you see a guy on one pump and he looks way too close to the gas pump. What you don't realize is that this guy is actually sniffing the gas straight from the nozzle like he's smelling a freshly baked pie. So you watch him lean over, take deep breaths of the gas fumes, and do this over and over again. The thing is, you've just seen someone with an addiction to smelling gasoline in action. Now, if you have this addiction, the smell of gasoline would be so intoxicating to you because you get high off it. You see, inhaling gasoline fumes is like giving your brain a slap in the face, except it's more of a knockout punch because the chemicals in gasoline trigger the release of dopamine. It's like a temporary high, but super short-lived, and comes with a tremendous crash. This is a really dangerous addiction because repeated exposure can cause serious brain damage, heart and lung destruction, and a bunch of other bodily harm. Plus, it's highly addictive, so once you get a whiff, your brain starts craving that gasoline hit again and again, kind of like the world's worst perfume. Aniamania. Aniamania is a fancy term for compulsive shopping or shopping addiction. It's when someone feels an overwhelming need to buy things even when they don't need them or can't afford them. If you have this addiction, shopping isn't just about getting what you need. It's about the rush you feel when you swipe your card. Shopping becomes less about the stuff and more about the dopamine hit. It's like a shopper's high. For a moment, everything is awesome. Like she's hit the jackpot of happiness. If you tell someone with a shopping addiction that they've got a problem, they would vehemently disagree and come up with excuses to justify the impulsive buying. They would come up with flimsy reasons like, well, it was 50% off, or, well, this could be useful one day. However, just like any addiction, the high they get from the addiction is short-lived, and soon you'll need another hit to make you feel good. And so the destructive cycle continues. It's like chasing after that perfect outfit that doesn't actually exist. While this addiction may seem like it's not that serious, aniamania is actually a serious mental health issue. It can lead to massive debt, strained relationships, and overwhelming stress. Your brain tells you that buying things will make you happy, but the reality is it's often just a temporary fix. The deeper emotional issues like anxiety, stress, or loneliness are still there, buried under piles of shopping bags. Cerumin aphasia. So, it's movie night, and you invited your buddy to join in this time. Suddenly, out of the corner of your eye, you notice him digging in his ear. Well, that's not a big deal, right? But you notice him doing something that's totally just wrong. Earl pulls out his finger and pops it in his mouth. You stare in disbelief as he munches on his own earwax like it's a tasty snack. Well, apparently your friend is really into eating his own earwax, and it's an addiction known as cerumin aphasia. Basically, if you have this addiction, you've developed an uncontrollable desire to consume your own earwax. It's like having your very own organic artisanal snack factory right in your ear canal. Talk about farm-to-table dining. You see, earwax is also called cerumin. It's a sticky, waxy substance that your body naturally produces to protect your ears from dirt, dust, and bacteria. But instead of leaving it where it belongs, some people decide it is the perfect little delicacy. The addiction can become quite serious, with people constantly digging for their next fix. It's a real irritating problem that can lead to damage to the ear canal and an increased risk of infection. Cyber hoarding. This is literally the digital age addiction where you'd compulsively collect and store digital content. Think files, pictures, emails, or even memes, without ever really needing or using them. You'll practically have over 50,000 emails in your inbox, a hard drive jam-packed with every cat video ever made, and folders named important stuff that haven't been opened since 2010. So instead of physical clutter, it's a digital pileup that would make your computer scream for help if it could. Basically, like every other addiction, this one starts innocently enough. Maybe you download an article you'll definitely read later, but probably won't. Or you save an extra copy of a work presentation, just in case. Then, one day you realize that your hard drive is fuller than a clown car and you've got 72 different copies of the same blurry photo from your vacation 8 years ago. Now throw in a fear of deleting anything just in case it becomes important, and suddenly you're a digital pack rat. You see, in the real world, hoarding is linked to the fear of losing something valuable, so when you start to hoard digitally, it's amplified by the fact that data doesn't physically take up space, so you don't see any problems with that. Taxidermy addiction. Just imagine walking into a cozy living room with very dim lighting, and as you settle into the comfy chair, you have this faint, eerie feeling that you're not alone. Well, as you look around, you see some of the most disturbing displays of animals. There's a fox on the mantelpiece, a squirrel poised on the coffee table as if ready to dash, and an owl in the corner with a constant gaze that looks like it's just watching you. In fact, the entire room is practically full of animals that look like they are weirdly alive. This is literally what the home of someone with taxidermy addiction looks like. It's like a quirky museum filled with animals forever frozen in time. Taxidermy addicts are collectors at heart, except instead of stamps or coins, they collect animals that are no longer scampering about. They've got a lot of dead space in their homes and crave the thrill of turning roadkill into roadkill art. Dermatillomania. Dermatillomania is like having an overeager internal beautician who never learned the golden rule, look but don't touch. It's as if these folks took the phrase beauty is only skin deep and decided to investigate it, literally. If you have this addiction, you will have this irresistible urge to pick at your skin. It can involve picking at pimples, scabs, dry skin, or even perfectly healthy skin, and you do this to the point of causing serious injury or noticeable marks on their skin. It's not just a random habit, it's a form of body-focused, repetitive behavior that comes as a constant nagging feeling you can't ignore. Even if you know you're hurting your skin, the picking brings you a weird sense of relief. It's almost like scratching an itch that never fully goes away. Sometimes skin picking is a way to deal with stress, tension, or anxiety. For you, when life gets hectic, picking at your skin is a way to release some of that pent-up energy. It's kind of like when people chew their nails or tap their feet, it becomes a way to cope, even if it's harmful. Now, I'm sure that you probably know this feeling of anxiety or stress very well because sometimes life can get really hectic, and we as humans just need a way to let off some steam. You could be stressed about different things that feel like you have no control over your life, but the good news is that you can figure it all out and excel. Our sponsor for today, BetterHelp, is here to help you take care of your mental health so you don't have to go through the stress and hassle of life alone. They are currently the world's largest therapy service and have the largest network of licensed, experienced, and professional therapists to help you. In fact, they've even assisted over 4 million people worldwide, and you can be one of them. The best part about BetterHelp is that they are 100% online, so you don't even need to leave the comfort of your home, and you can talk to your therapist however you feel most comfortable, through messaging, phone calls, and even video sessions. Anytime, any day. Get started with your healing journey today by simply clicking on this link, betterhelp.com/evaluator, for a special discount off your first month and to become a part of all BetterHelp has to offer.